first time Commander Elara Vey kissed a human, she expected him to die. She did not expect the entire command chamber to kneel. 1 second, 12 armed officers stood behind her, watching the captured human through a transparent containment field. The next, every one of them dropped to one knee. Weapons clattered across the floor, heads lowered. The command chamber went completely silent, and every light in the room turned white. Elara slowly pulled away from the human's lips. Her golden eyes widened. The prisoner stared back at her. He looked almost as confused as she was. "Was that supposed to happen?" he asked. Elara looked at the soldiers. None of them moved. "Are you responsible for this?" Ethan Vale glanced around. "I've been accused of many things." That wasn't an answer. No. He looked at the kneeling officers. "I have absolutely no idea what just happened." Elara stared at him. Then something behind Ethan moved. A symbol had appeared on the containment glass. An ancient human symbol. A single eye. It glowed once, then vanished. Alara's expression changed. She had seen that symbol only once before, in a classified archive that no living Dominion officer was supposed to know existed. She looked back at Ethan. "Who are you?" Ethan gave her a tired smile. "My name is Ethan Vale. I know your name." "Then we're off to a good start. You are humanity's most wanted prisoner, apparently. You destroyed a Dominion warship. It was going to explode anyway. You survived a radiation storm without armor. That one was unpleasant. And now 12 elite officers have dropped to their knees after you kissed me." Ethan looked at her. "Technically, you kissed me." For the first time in years, Commander Elara Vey had no answer, and 3,000 years of forgotten history had just begun to wake up. 3 hours orrery Ethan Vale sat inside an execution chair and studied the ceiling. He had expected his final day to be more dramatic. Instead, it was boring. The chamber was cold. The lights were too bright. And the alien officer preparing his execution had been explaining the same procedure for almost 10 minutes. "You have been convicted of sabotage, military interference, destruction of Dominion property, unauthorized entry into restricted space, and the killing of Dominion personnel." Ethan nodded. "Sounds about right." The officer stopped reading. "You admit the charges?" "Some of them." "Which?" "The boring ones." The officer's 4 eyes narrowed. "You destroyed the cruiser Valiant." "Yes. That vessel carried 300 Dominion soldiers. It was evacuating. It exploded. Eventually. You expect me to believe you didn't destroy it?" Ethan looked at the weapon in the officer's hand. "No." The officer stepped closer. "Then why aren't you afraid?" "I am." "Your pulse is normal." "I hide it well." The officer activated the execution device. A low vibration filled the chamber. Ethan's eyes moved toward the emitter. "That's not calibrated." The officer froze. "What?" "The left coil." "What about it?" "It's cycling 3 milliseconds early." The officer stared at him. "You cannot possibly hear that." Ethan shrugged. "It's loud." The officer looked at the machine, then at Ethan, then back at the machine. For the first time, uncertainty appeared on his face. Before he could check it, the entire chamber shook. The lights flickered. An alarm sounded. Then the main doors exploded inward. Smoke filled the room. Through it walked a woman in silver armor. She was taller than Ethan. Pale blue skin, long black hair, 2 narrow horns curved backward from her temples, and golden eyes that made every soldier immediately lower their weapons. Commander Elara Vey, heir to the Dominion throne, commander of the 7th Imperial Fleet, and the woman who had personally signed Ethan Vale's death order. She looked directly at him. "Release him." The execution officer hesitated. "Commander, the prisoner is scheduled for termination." "I know. He is dangerous." "I know. He destroyed one of our cruisers." "I know." "Then why?" Elara drew her weapon. "Because I just ordered you to release him." The restraints opened. Ethan stood. His legs were stiff. He rubbed his wrists. "You're late." Elara stared at him. You know who I am? Your face is on the wanted files. And you're not afraid? I've been trying. She almost smiled. Almost? Take him? Two soldiers approached. One grabbed Ethan's arm. Ethan looked at Elara. Where are we going? Somewhere you cannot escape. I've heard that before. The soldier struck him. Ethan's head snapped sideways. Silence filled the chamber. Elara slowly turned toward the soldier. Who authorized that? The soldier swallowed. No one. Then put your weapon down. Commander, now. He obeyed. Elara looked at Ethan. Blood ran from the corner of his mouth. Ethan touched it. Your people are friendly. Something changed in Elara's eyes. Bring him. The transport through the flagship took 20 minutes. Ethan watched the enormous ship through the observation window. The Dominion flagship was practically a floating city. Thousands of alien soldiers moved through the corridors. Some had wings, others had scales. One species had 4 arms. Another appeared to be made entirely of translucent tissue. Every one of them looked at Ethan, and every time they did, they whispered, Human. The Death Worlder. That's him? He doesn't look dangerous. Ethan heard them. Elara noticed. You understand them. Most. Your translator has 12 errors. She looked at him. You can identify translation errors? Yes. How? Pattern recognition. That's not normal. Neither is being arrested by aliens. They entered an elevator. The doors closed. For the first time, they were alone. Elara crossed her arms. You destroyed the Valiant. Yes. You killed 300 soldiers. No. The ship was destroyed. After the evacuation. You expect me to believe that? I don't care. Elara stepped closer. You should care. Why? Because I decide what happens to you. Ethan looked at her, then at her left hand. It was trembling. You are injured. Elara immediately hit it. I'm fine. No. Human. Commander. Don't presume to understand my condition. I don't. Ethan nodded toward her hand. Your pulse is irregular. She stared. You can see my pulse? Your neck. Elara instinctively touched it. Ethan smiled. Got you. She stared at him, then unexpectedly laughed. It lasted barely a second, but Ethan noticed. So you can smile. Don't become comfortable. Too late. The elevator stopped. The doors opened. Elara stepped out. Ethan followed. Neither noticed the symbol appearing briefly on the wall behind them. A human eye. Black. Ancient. Watching them. Elara took Ethan somewhere no prisoner had ever been taken. The restricted archive. There were no guards, no cameras, only thousands of crystalline records floating in the darkness. Ethan stopped. What is this? The reason you're still alive. Elara touched one crystal. A projection appeared. A human soldier stood beneath a red sun. Around him were species that no longer existed. Behind them rose an enormous black structure. Ethan stared. How old? 3,812 years. Human? Yes. Ethan stepped closer. Another image appeared. Human ships, human cities, human armies, thousands of them. But the technology was unlike anything humanity possessed in Ethan's lifetime. He looked at Elara. We weren't here. That's what the Dominion believes. What do you believe? I believe someone erased this. Another image appeared. A human woman stood before a circular gate. The eye symbol was visible on her uniform. Elara whispered, Your ancestors built that. Ethan looked at the gate. Where does it lead? We don't know. Then why does everyone look terrified? Elara looked at him, because something came through. The lights dimmed. A voice echoed through the archive. Human. Ancient. The gate remembers. Ethan froze. Elara reached for her weapon. The voice continued. The blood remembers. Ethan's breathing changed. Who is that? The answer came immediately. You. Ethan stared into the darkness. I've never heard that voice. Elara slowly turned toward him. Yes, you have. When? When you sleep. Ethan said nothing. Because she was right. For years he had dreamed of the same place. A black ocean. a dead moon, a woman standing beside a door, and a voice calling his name. He had always thought it was a nightmare. Now he understood something. It wasn't a dream, it was a memory. Quote, the archive door slammed shut, red lights flashed. Elara raised her weapon. Behind me. 6 soldiers appeared behind the glass. Ethan frowned. They're not supposed to be there. You noticed too. Their eyes suddenly turned white. Their bodies jerked violently. Elara fired. One fell. The others charged the door. Run. They sprinted through the archive. Ethan glanced back. They're infected. By what? I don't know. You seem to know a lot for someone who doesn't know anything. That's my personality. A blast ripped through the corridor. Elara stumbled. Ethan caught her. She tried to stand. Her leg failed. You are injured. I can walk. No. I am commander of the 7th Fleet. Congratulations. Ethan lifted her. Her eyes widened. Put me down. No. Ethan, you're bleeding. I can still command. Then command me to run. She stared at him. Run. He smiled. Good order. He carried her toward the escape chamber. Behind them came a scream. Not alien, not mechanical. Human. Elara looked over his shoulder. What was that? Ethan's expression became serious. I don't know. Then the scream came again. This time it said his name. Ethan. He stopped. Elara looked at him. Did you hear that? Yes, they ran faster. The escape pod had only 1 seat. Elara looked inside, then at Ethan. We'll share. Ethan raised an eyebrow. That's surprisingly intimate. Get in. He climbed inside. The hatch closed. They were pressed together. Elara could feel his heartbeat. Ethan could feel her breathing. The pod launched. The sudden acceleration pushed her against him. His arm wrapped around her waist to keep her from hitting the wall. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Elara whispered, Why did you save me? Because you were falling. That's all? No. She looked at him. What else? Ethan hesitated. I don't know yet. The pod shook. Alara's face was inches from his. She looked at his eyes, then his lips, then back at his eyes. You are strange. So I've been told, humans are supposed to be dangerous. Sometimes, you're not afraid of me. I probably should be. Why aren't you? Ethan smiled. Maybe I'm distracted. By what? He looked directly at her. You. Elara's expression softened. She leaned closer. Her lips touched his. The kiss lasted only a moment. Gentle. Uncertain. Then she pulled away. Ethan stared. Was that an interrogation technique? Alara's cheeks darkened. No. Good. Why? I liked it. She smiled. Then the pod shook violently. The lights went out, and somewhere aboard the flagship, 12 soldiers suddenly dropped to their knees. The pod crashed onto an unknown moon. Ethan woke first. Elara was unconscious. He checked her pulse. Strong. He exhaled. Outside, black mountains surrounded them. Above the horizon hung a gigantic planet. Its surface was covered in glowing lines. Elara opened her eyes. Where are we? Lost. That is not useful. Extremely lost. She tried to stand. Her injured leg gave way. Ethan caught her. You need rest. We don't have time. Then we moved slowly. They stepped outside. The air was freezing. Something moved between the rocks. Ethan stopped. Elara. She turned. A massive creature emerged. 4 legs, black armor, teeth like blades. Elara raised her weapon. Ethan stepped in front of her. What are you doing? Buying time. You cannot fight that. Probably not. The creature charged. Ethan waited. At the last second he moved. The creature crashed into a rock. Ethan grabbed a broken panel and struck its neck. The creature screamed. Elara fired. The creature collapsed. She stared at Ethan. You said you couldn't fight it. I said probably. She smiled. You are impossible. So I've heard. They continued toward the mountains. Behind them, the creature's blood disappeared into the ground. The moon trembled. Something beneath it had awakened. At sunset, they found the ruins. A massive circular structure stood between the mountains. Ethan stopped. Human architecture. Impossible human architecture. He touched the wall. White light spread beneath his palm. Elara stepped backward. Ethan. I didn't do that. The door opened. Inside stood a statue of a human woman. She wore ancient armor. One hand rested on the shoulder of a child. Ethan approached. The statue's eyes opened. Elara raised her weapon. The statue spoke. Finally, Ethan stopped. Who are you? I am the memory of the first queen. Elara lowered her weapon. Humanity had a queen? Before the war. What war? The statue turned toward Elara. The war your people erased. Elara froze. Who erased it? The statue looked at Ethan. Humans. Ethan frowned. Why? Because humanity discovered what lived beyond the gate. The ground shook. The statue continued. They could have used it. For what? Power. Ethan looked at the enormous circular structure behind the statue. And they didn't? They chose imprisonment? Elara whispered. Why? The statue answered. Because they discovered the creature could not be controlled. The lights flickered. A deep sound echoed below them. Ethan looked at the floor. What's down there? The statue looked at him. The reason your species disappeared. The chamber went dark. Then one final sentence appeared in white light. The last human must chost. The next morning, Dominion ships appeared in orbit. Elara looked up. They found us. How many? Hundreds. Are they coming to rescue us? No. She lowered her eyes. They're coming to kill us. Ethan sighed. That's inconvenient. Elara stared at him. Why are you calm? I'm not. You look calm. I'm not. You look calm. I'm very good at lying. She smiled faintly. You're going to get yourself killed. Maybe. She looked away. For the first time, Elara was afraid. Not of dying. Of losing him. Ethan noticed. You care. She looked at him. Yes. He stepped closer. Why? She didn't answer immediately. Then she took his hand. Because you make me want a future. Ethan looked down at their intertwined fingers. That's dangerous. I know. The sky opened. Hundreds of Dominion ships descended. Weapons charged. Elara stepped forward. Ethan stood beside her. A transmission filled the air. Commander Elara Vey, surrender the human. Elara raised her weapon. No. You are ordered to comply. I know. You are betraying the Dominion. Elara looked at Ethan, then back at the fleet. Perhaps the Dominion deserves to be betrayed. The ground shook. The ancient gate began opening. Thousands of soldiers landed. Elara removed the royal insignia from her armor. She dropped it into the dirt. A general stepped forward. You have betrayed your throne. Elara looked at Ethan. No. She turned back. I have discovered who we really betrayed. The ground split. Darkness rose from beneath the ruins. The soldiers screamed. Ethan heard the ancient voice. Ethan Vale. He stepped forward. Elara grabbed his hand. What are you doing? I think I understand. The gate. Yes. What does it want? Ethan looked at her. A choice. The statue's words returned to him. Asterisk. The last human must choose. Not power. Not war. Not survival. Choice. Humanity had sealed the creature because they understood something the Dominion never had. Some power could only be defeated by refusing to use it. Ethan looked at Elara. If I do this, I may not come back. She tightened her grip. Then I will come with you. No, don't argue. I might fail. So might I. You could die. She smiled sadly. Then at least I'll be with you. Ethan stared at her. Then he kissed her. Not because they were safe, because they weren't. Not because they knew what would happen, because they didn't. When they separated, the entire ruin erupted in white light. Every Dominion weapon shut down. Every ship in orbit froze. Every soldier dropped to one knee. The same thing that had happened in the command chamber. Elara stared at the kneeling army. The kiss. Ethan looked at his hands. I think it wasn't the kiss. What was it? Choice. The ancient voice answered. Correct. That sky turned white. Every Dominion soldier saw the same memory. Humanity thousands of years earlier, a civilization more advanced than the Dominion. Human ships surrounding the ancient gate. Their enemies demanded that humanity use the creature beyond the gate as a weapon. Humanity refused. Instead, they sealed themselves away. They erased their own history. They abandoned their colonies. They sacrificed their empire, not because they were weak, because they knew what power without restraint would become. The memory ended. The soldiers lowered their weapons. No one fired. No one moved. The Dominion had spent thousands of years calling humanity primitive. Now they finally understood. Humanity had not disappeared because it lost. Humanity had disappeared because it won and chose not to become monsters. The ancient darkness retreated. The gate closed. Ethan collapsed. Elara caught him. Ethan! He didn't answer. She pressed her forehead against his. Don't you dare leave me. His eyes opened. He smiled weakly. You're bossy. She laughed through tears. And you're impossible. Still alive. For now. She kissed him. This time there was no fear. No soldiers. No weapons. Only the two of them. 3 days later, the Dominion surrendered. Not to Earth's military. Earth had not even known what happened. They surrendered because every soldier had witnessed the truth. The Dominion Council offered Ethan the position of first human ambassador. He refused. Why? Ethan shrugged. I hate meetings. Elara laughed. You destroyed a battle cruiser. That was easier. She stood beside him on the balcony. No crown, no armor, just a simple black uniform. What do you want? Ethan looked toward the stars. Earth. Elara smiled. Then take me. He turned. You want to come? I kissed you. That doesn't mean you have to follow me home. She stepped closer. I want to. Ethan smiled. Then come. She kissed his cheek. Someone needs to make sure you don't start another interstellar incident. No promises. They laughed. For the first time in thousands of years, humanity had a future. But then the communication system activated. One signal. Weak. Ancient. Human. Ethan's smile disappeared. Elara noticed. What is it? He listened. 3 pulses. Pause. 3 pulses. Pause. 3 pulses. Pause. 1 pulse. His face went pale. I know that signal. From where? Earth. Elara frowned. Earth hasn't transmitted that code in 200 years. I know. The signal repeated. 3 pulses. 3 pulses. 1 pulse. Then a human voice whispered through the speakers. Ethan Vale. He froze. The voice continued. Do not trust the woman beside you. Elara's expression changed. Ethan slowly turned toward her. She stared back. Neither moved. Then another voice entered the transmission. Elara's voice, exactly the same. Same tone, same accent, same breathing. Ethan. His blood ran cold. The transmission continued. The real Elara Vey is still on Worth. Silence. Ethan looked at the woman beside him. She looked at him. For the first time since they met, neither knew what to believe. Then Elara reached for his hand. Ethan didn't pull away. Whatever she was, whatever had followed them through the ancient gate, whatever waited on Earth, he knew one thing. He had already chosen her. The signal repeated. 3 pulses. Pause. 3 pulses. Pause. 1 pulse. Then something answered. Not human. Not Dominion. Something enormous. Something awake. Something that had been waiting for humanity to return. Ethan looked at Elara. Ready? She smiled. No. He smiled back. Good. Together they walked toward the stars. Behind them, beneath the ruins of the ancient gate, the forgotten human symbol appeared one final time. The eye opened. And this time, It was looking directly at Earth.